Hey coders, today we are going to build together our first Django project. So grab your coffee or tea and let's get started. So the first thing to do is to just check if you have Python installed on your laptop. So to do that, you just write python -- version. In my case, I've downloaded the last version of Python. I will assume it's downloaded for you too. I will not cover this topic in this video. And by that, start by opening the right folder where you wanna create the virtual environment of your Django application. So in my case, I'm now in my user folder. So ls shows me what do I have, which directories I have in this main directory. So I will open the desktop, and then in the desktop I will be opening code.shed, and I will be grabbing, as you see, we have the Django and HTML. I will be grabbing Django. Now let's create our virtual environment. To do that, you just type python 3 in my case -m venv, and I will call it Django Hello World because it's Hello World application. So now if we check in the Django, we will see a directory has been created. So let's just open this directory and see what's in it. As you see, we have the bin include lib, which stands for library, and we have the environment configuration. Now what we want to do after we have installed the virtual environment successfully, we want to start this environment. To start the environment, you write source bin /activate. And you activate with that. As you see, we have activated the virtual environment. Now let's install Django on this virtual environment. To do that, just use the pip install Django. Pip is basically a package management system written in Python, and it's used to install and manage packages, as you see here. That's why we are just using it to install our Django. Now, as you see, it's successfully installed. Now, if you wanna, for example, use the pip to check your versions, just write pip freeze, then you will be able to see which versions do you have. As you see, we have like the Django 4.1.5 and we have the SQL. This is how you check the versions of the packages you have in your virtual environment. Now, after doing that, nothing should stop us from starting our Django application. So let's start our application. To start it, you just write Django -admin and start project. This command will allow us to create our application. So let's call our application simply Hello World. Now it's successfully created. Now to see some results rendered on the screen, you just type python manage.py and then run server. Before doing that, as you see, you want to be sure that you are in the right directory. So let's check. We need to be in the Hello World and able to open this project. So let's get into Hello World, and inside Hello World, just type python manage.py run server. Now, as you see, you can get some migrations error if you don't migrate before running the server. So you want to ensure that you write python manage.py migrate. In this case, as you see, you have migrated these 18 unapplied migrations, and then you can start it now one more time to run the server. And as you see, has started with no errors. So we grab this localhost URL, and guys, I will be uploading my code on this GitHub, so be sure to check it out and download the code if you need it, or check the code directly there. Now the problem here is basically that I've opened another project, so I will close it and repeat the whole thing. So let's run the server. Now as you see, it should open under this link. Let's check it. As you see, it's now successfully implemented. Now what if we want to grab this whole thing and just like put Hello World and show our code instead of these standard stuff that Django renders on the screen? So to do that, let's go first to our code. So as you see here in the Django Hello World, you open the Hello World, and in the settings, if you open the settings, you will see here the applications which are installed already in your Django application. And then after this, you can write your own one. So let's just write your own. I will be calling it simply Hello World. So now we wanna start this application. Just as a note, these applications are not like applications like your phone or the softwares on your MacBook. These are very simple applications which has some main task to establish usually. So in our case, we'll create a new application which will just render Hello World on our screen. That's why I've grabbed and put this here under installed application. Now let's create this one because it's our own, so we should create it. To create it, let me stop the server. It's having now some errors because I've written Hello World application here before I've created it. That's why Django is not able to know what that is. So let's create it. To do that, we just create python manage.py. We start an application, and let's call this application print Hello World. It should be successfully created now. As you see, here we go, print Hello World. Now the first thing that you want to do, as I've said, it, you want to grab it and be sure that it's in the setting under installed application. So here is your own apps, created apps. Then we have here print hello world. You want to be sure that you're writing your new created application in the installed apps. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Now let's go to our print hello world, open the models, and here we write our code usually. So let's start by creating our view. To do that, we start defining our function. I will call it now, in our case, home view. It's the view of our home page. And then as arguments, let's grab the args and then the key args. I'm not gonna get into these in this video, so just write them like that if you don't know Python, and don't worry about them. We'll get into these in the future in another video. And now this function should do something, obviously. In our case, we want to return this hello world popping up, and let's say it's in h1. Now we can for sure like write return, and then let's write our h1 and hello world, and then we close the tag. But guess what? Do you think that's gonna work? We are just returning here in our case. We need not just to return, we need to render it, and we need to send it back as an HTTP response, so we see it on the screen. So to do that, we have a function in Django. We need to import it. This function imported from Django shortcuts. So from Django shortcuts, we import the HTTP response, and we want to be sure that these are in quotations, and before them for sure you grab the right function, which is HTTP response. Now if we run our server now one more time, it's running as you see here, and check our application, you will see like nothing has happened, and that has a reason. The reason is basically that we still need to work on the URLs in our application. As you see in our main application, which is hello world, and the URLs, we just have one path here, which is the admin path. And if you check this path, let's check it together. So /admin, it will be having like a Django administration dashboard, which is very useful. We are going to get into this in the future. So now we need for sure like a new path, and if you read the documentation here, it's always there for you. We want to create a new path, so let's grab this one, paste it here, just copy paste from these already documented instructions. So in our case, it's the home page, that's why we don't need anything here. We need to import the right view here, as you see. So our view, we're going to import it from print hello world. We are going to import, so we want to create some views. So you open the print hello world, which should be the application which prints our hello world on the screen. We go for the views, and we define a new function here, which should be our view. I will call it home view because it's going to render on our home page. Then you want to have as arguments the args and key args. I'm not gonna get into these in this tutorial, so if you don't know Python, no worries, just write these as arguments, and we'll get into this in the future. Don't worry about them. And then we want to return, let's say, hello world. So we have h1 hello world. Then we close our tag. But here we want to be sure that we are not just returning, we want to return that as HTTP response in order to render that on our homepage. So to do that, we want to import this function from our Django. So to do that, from Django shortcuts, we want to import the HTTP response. We want to be sure that this function is used with the argument containing our HTML, in our case hello world. Now if we save, let's stop our server and start it again, and guess what? Let's refresh. You will be seeing the same shit. I will be telling you why. The main reason for that is that we didn't define for Django that hey, this is what you should render on this page. We just define the view, but we didn't say to Django when this view should be rendered. So to do that, we'll go to the hello world, we'll go to the URLs, and as you see, you have already a documentation here, and we already have a something which is rendered on the /admin. Let's check it. If you just write /admin here, Django administration system will be opened. For future, I will be getting into this. It's very useful dashboard, but for now, let's go back our homepage and try to render our hello world here. So to do that, following the instructions, let's just grab this one. So we'll keep this one empty because we are rendering on the home page, and then we want to be sure that we are grabbing our view here. So before grabbing it, let's import it. We want to import it from print hello world. So from print hello world, we want to import views. As you see, from this print hello world, we are importing the views into here. Now after importing it, we grab it here. So after importing, we call it here, and we want to be sure which function we are calling. In our case, we want to call the home view. So view, let's call home view. Let's keep the name home here. It's just basically a name, you can even like drop it. Let's keep it for now here. Now if we check, we want to first restart our server. Now the error we are getting here is just basically that we forgot the comma. So let's put our comma, and as you see, it's working now without any errors. Let's refresh. Whoop, hello world. And by that, guys, let's celebrate our win by creating our first Django Hello World application. Let's enjoy our coffee. Be sure to subscribe to be a better coder. Here's your Jad. See you.